Well, welcome tonight to our diversify call. Diversity. It is diversity,
Yes,
but it is diversify call. And we are in the month of what? April?
April 30, 2024.
So we're excited that you're joining us tonight. Tonight we have a very special guest. We're gonna dive into a whole new territory that we haven't done yet.
Yes.
But this night's gonna be about building building your brand and actually building the marketing around your brand.
Yes.
So we're gonna get into some more specific things. Over the course of the last year or so, we've like talked about how to get started and kind of the baby steps. But
Mhm.
this year we want to get more into like the actual practicals and the tactics you're going to need to do these things.
Mhm.
So we want to incorporate some of you guys that are professionals that are doing this every day, and we want to pool all of our resources together to see if we can come up to the best product for all of us, right?
Yes, and because diversifies, it's made or we are a group of people. We always want to start with our own group, right? We want to be able to support each other. We want to be able to grow each other because that's one of the beliefs that we have that everyone have different strengths. So I could be doing some branding, I could do maybe doing something, but am I the best person? Do I have all of those qualifications or experience to do it? No. And that's when it's so important to be okay, especially when we're starting to reach out to each other, to be able to say, hey, you know what? I know this person is very gifted on branding or creating logos or website, or maybe it's the human capital component. Let me reach out to them. So that's one of our beliefs. That's one of our, one of our core values is always trying to reach out to people and have them join and partner with us in what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is like Deanna is saying, it's very important that we don't spend a lot of time learning things that somebody else could do a lot faster. Because I mean, and this is for us too,
Mhm.
is we tend to want to do a lot of things ourselves because we save money, but then it takes us hours and hours to do stuff, to just learn it, to get on YouTube, to read on Google, to go through, listen to podcasts, books, and it's really not even a thing we're really passionate about. Sometimes, you have to do those things because we're limited budget. But other times it's like sometimes we want to be so excellent at stuff that we spend so much time learning stuff. And then in the end, we do it. And I've done this too. I've done things and I'm like, it's not even that good. And I just spent all these hours. I could have been doing something else, making money, doing something different that I like doing, and just paid somebody to do this in 15 or 20 minutes. That might have taken me 2 weeks to just figure out how to push play or turn something on the computer or something.
Yes, and when you're starting a company, we know that the cash flow is low, right? But it's also having those conversations about, well, can we start maybe with a smaller budget and then as we grow, increase the budget, right? Because, we also want to be able to pay people for the services that they're providing. And I know sometimes we are like exchanging, right?
Yeah.
I'm an accountant. Your strength is, well, you have so many strengths, and that's limitless. But let's say Chad will do the tile work, right? So sometimes I can have that conversation about, well, can I do this for you while you do that? But other times it's actually, being okay with how much would you charge for this, right? And maybe right now I can pay you, but I can start saving money so that then I can pay you and have quality on my product or have quality on my logo or my website, be able to show exactly what I want to be able to show.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just to keep at the back of your mind. Just start thinking. I try to start thinking differently about who you're going to use, the people. Think outside the box.
Mhm.
Don't limit yourself by your budget. I mean, I know that sounds kind of crazy because what happens is you'll stay in that position for way too long. Like if you're always just looking at like, I just don't have the money to do this, I don't have the money to do this, and I'm gonna just have to figure it out myself. What happens is when you start to figure stuff out yourself, then you start feeling cheap. Like I'm not gonna pay somebody to do that. I could do it myself and save $150. Or I could say, and and then you'll find out that you start losing traction of
Mm,
where you're actually going because you're so busy doing all these other things
mm.
that other people that can help you do it faster, and you'll grow quicker and you'll be able to produce more income.
Yes, you also get frustrated. Sometimes we start thinking, well, I thought this was going to be fun. This is something that I've been dreaming about doing. Why am I getting so frustrated? Why is my energy so low? Why I really don't want to do it. And it's because we've been putting things into our plate that we're really not good at, that doesn't get the best out of us, that actually frustrate us. And then here we are, instead of enjoying the dream that we've always wanted, we are not happy with it. But it's because we've been putting upon our shoulders things that we were not supposed to be doing, right? So I can give you examples, right? So one of the best ones that I have is like the money component. So some people are amazing, like a creator or web developer, or it could be, so many different things. Like I'm very good maybe at doing landscaping and doing art on the landscaping. But when it comes to the money part, I don't even want to see it. I don't know how to deal with it. It's stressful to pay people. So I'm trying to give example, but there's a lot of people that finances are something they don't want to deal with, right? So that's when you reach out to someone else, or maybe you're not gifted or talented on creating your own logo. That will be us. We have an idea of what we want, we have a vision, and I love drawing. But for me to go from that to actually go into a computer and design it, that's very different.
Yeah, that's why we want to share with you guys
Mm-hmm.
people like Ryan, her business and what she does.
Yeah.
Like she's really gifted at branding, marketing. She's gifted at web design, all these different things that, it takes us forever. I mean, I try to dabble in it, even try to use AI a little bit to do stuff, but it's never exactly what I want. But people that just have the gifting and the talent and they've had the experience learning that craft,
Yes.
it makes a big difference. So I don't want to take any more time up. I want to give Ryan plenty of time to share what she's going to with us tonight, but she's incredible. You
Yes.
guys are going to be extremely blessed just learning from her tonight, and hopefully it'll help you like going forward, give you ideas of things that you could do.
Yes.
So we're ready for you, Ryan, if you're ready.
Thank you. I just had to figure out how to share my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll give you a few minutes to figure it out. It's always fun when you're like, I'm on the spot, and then all of a
Right.
sudden I can't hit the mute button. Where's the mute button? I can see it and then it's gone. How many times you're on Zoom and you can't find the mute button when somebody calls
Mhm.
on you? You're like, where did it go?
Um,
It's
Yeah.
gonna be like a more button, and then under the more button, hold on, let me make sure to
Under screen share.
that you can share your screen. Hold on.
we might have to change. Hold on. Let me see. I might need permission to be able to share.
Yeah, you should be able to. I'm looking at it, it doesn't say that you can, so you should be able to. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't give you the share screen option at the bottom.
It does not. Oh, there it is. I found it.
Perfect.
All right.
We'll cut that part of the video record.
No, we're gonna leave it in for fun.
All right. Should be letting me.
Well,
You seeing it?
No,
All right,
I
let's
should be able to see it.
Feel
always
like Jeopardy.
trying to do it now. My computer's blocking it. That's the problem.
Okay.
See, we need a professional tech person then.
Yes, we do. We love you, right?
Help us, Adam.
All right, I think I got it. Gotta love Minix.
Technology,
Oh, for real, technology is like the best, and
the worst at the same time. Got a love-hate relationship with it.
Mhm.
yes.
It's great when it
Alright.
works, but when it doesn't. Here we go.
There we go.
Yes, so good. There you go. Present. Mhm.
Let's go. There we
I
go.
love this. I love how you're using Canva. So even that component, right? It's
Mhm.
a platform that people are really, some people are using, but a lot of people are still not using. And it's a great, software to have, the free one, just to do simple things.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great software to have, and once you build out your logos and you build out your brand, you can kind of scale some of the things that I'll show you on here with really creating your brand identity and creating just everything that creates a color story. And so I'll kind of show it throughout this presentation. So the main thing for today is going to be, logos and branding. Why is it important? And why is it the key to business success and recognition? And so we've got nice, hold on, my pictures of us are covering up my screen. All right, so logos really define your brand identity and leave a lasting impression. So these are just some examples of logos that immediately looking at them, you can identify what most, if not all of them go to. And some of them are utilizing just text and words, where others of them are utilizing just an icon. So something that's going to designate your business, whether you want it to be a monogram if it's just a sole proprietor business, or you have a company and you want it to have a logo and words, but being scaled, you want it to be recognized and usable in multiple formats. So the power of your logo is that it creates a 25% recognition increase. People are obviously going to start recognizing your name as you're using it for your business, whether it's your business name or whether it's just your personal name. A logo is going to enhance that recognition as customers see your print marketing, as they see your business cards, as they see your social media. Having that logo on there is going to start to create that repetition in customers' minds, and that when they search you or when they see something, they're going to be able to glance your logo and say, oh, this was Chad and Deanna, and they helped me learn my financial foundation. And so they're going to recognize that able marketing, and they're going to start to recognize that and be like, oh, they taught my financial class, or they taught this, and they're going to recognize it before they ever even see what that marketing is. They're going to start to recognize that logo that's being implemented across all of your platforms. It's also going to create a 75% increase in the consistency that your branding is going to lead to trust. So they're going to see, oh, this person or this company has a logo. It's going to make you seem more trustworthy and more professional in the eyes of your customer. And so they're going to recognize that and see that you've put some thought into it versus you just have your name plastered on something and you're going out from door to door. Having a logo and having a brand is going to create more of that trust with your customers that you're trying to attain and you're trying to retain at the same time. It's also going to increase the loyalty of your customers by 80% because they're going to start to see it as it comes through. And it's also going to be a good way that they're going to be able to promote you to other people by having that logo and having your brand created. It's going to be word of mouth from your customers as well. Whatever it is your line of business is, it's going to create consumer loyalty, but it's also going to create the word of mouth and the sharing of your company that's going to become more recognizable once you have a brand and a logo implemented. So why is a logo so important for your business? And why is it so important to do it early on in your business? It's going to grab the attention of the consumer or of people that you see out and about. The logo can quickly grab their attention and communicates kind of the core value or the identity of your company based on the colors that you use that can kind of tell a story, or the way that your logo looks to fit within your set marketing area. It makes a strong first impression. Having that logo on there, having the branding all matching together sets that at first impression with your customer and introduces you to your consumer in a way that they're going to be able to recognize into the future. It also creates that memory and that memorable outlast with your customer versus if they just see your name. But if they see your name with a logo, it's going to make it more memorable to the customers when they're looking back at things or when they're trying to search for you online. It also is going to separate you from your competition. So it's going to communicate everything that your company kind of stands for by the colors that you pick, by the way your logo looks. It's going to separate you from just another landscaper. So if you're just saying you're a landscaper and you're saying you're Joe's Landscaping, if you don't have a logo designed with it, there could be 20 different Joe's Landscapings and they're not going to know how to find you specifically because you don't have a logo just like the rest of them. You've just used your name, where the logo really separates you and makes you stand out against your competition. It's also the foundation of your brand's identity. So that's why it's so important to do your logo first, is because that's really what we wrap your identity of your brand around. Once we have your logo in place with your fonts and your colors, the rest of the branding can kind of grow from there and be scalable from there. So even if you're just starting out and you're not ready to do a full branding package for your company, at least start with that logo, because in the future you can scale your branding from there. You can go down the line and you can add additional accent colors or change up the fonts a little bit so that they still coordinate with your logo. But setting that logo from the very beginning is really going to be what's going to set your business up for success in the future. Because as you start your business, the first thing you're going to want to do is create a business card, create a social media, create an email. If you create those things and already have the logo in place, it's really going to set you above your competition and it's really going to set you up for success from the beginning versus 2 years from down the line when you are ready to invest more in your business and you want to kind of do your logo. You're now not going to have any recognition with your customers from those last 2 years because they don't have that logo and branding to recognize you by from the very beginning. And so it's so important that the logo is one of the first things that you do after you fully determine what your business name is. You have Chad and Deanna help you get all of your like company documents, whether you're setting up an LLC or an EIN. Once you have that in place and you know that your name isn't available to anybody else, that's when you want to get your logo started and really start creating your brand from the very beginning. It also fosters, again, like that percentage we saw before, it fosters that brand loyalty because you're being recognizable to your customer, you're being recognizable to the consumers. It gives you that level of trust and also that familiarity with your customers because they're going to easily be able to identify who you are just by glimpsing your logo. And also your audience and your customers kind of expect it. If you're saying that you're an official business and that you're an official company, people are kind of going to expect that you're going to have that logo in place from the very beginning. If you don't have the logo or one that stands out necessarily, you're just missing that opportunity for your business to really stick in the minds of your consumer. And that goes for anything. This isn't just for if you have a full-fledged company. even if you're working as a sole proprietor and you're using your name as your company, it's still essential to create a logo and create a brand even around your name. So, for example, I had a photography business starting off. Even though my business was Ryan's Photography, I still created a logo to go around that company because it creates that brand recognition and makes it memorable in the customer's eyes that they're going to recognize your logo across any marketing, any branding that you create. It's going to be recognized even though you're using your personal name. And so when is the right time to for a logo and a brand identity? Now, from the very beginning, before you begin anything with your company, before you create any marketing, before you go and create your social medias, business cards, website, anything like that, you want to establish at least your logo with a basic brand identity from the very beginning, because you want to be able to have that be scalable. You don't want to go back after the fact and have to redo business cards, reprint business cards, redo your social media, and have to hide all of your old posts, because you want to really set it up from the beginning. And like I said, it can be anything from a full scale logo to just a monogram if you're using your personal name. It's just something that's going to create that recognition in the mind of your customers of who you are and what you stand for. And it just makes you look more professional to your customers. And so these are the questions that us personally, we ask when we're trying to create a logo or a brand identity. This is really how we start off before we can even create anything. We want to know, like, what are your brand's values? What does your brand stand for? What are some of the core values that are important to your business? What is your target audience? Is it only women? Is it only, the Christian community? Is it a set pay scale of people? Are you looking at the underprivileged? Are you just whoever your target audience is? That's really going to help develop your logo and your brand as well. What is going to be your brand's personality? Are you fun and quirky, so we're going to use more fun and unique fonts? Or are you more professional and part of the business world, and we need to really make sure that we use very straight fonts and stuff that looks more professional? And so that's really going to determine the fonts that are used in your brand, the colors that are used in your branding, based on what your personality is. And then what fonts or colors do you maybe have in mind that represent your company? Obviously, some of those key values at the top could slightly change some of the colors. And some of the colors that we use, we also want to throw in accents that are going to be good scaling for print marketing. If you have all pastels as your colors, similar to like what my branding is, like that, you can see it's very pastels, it's very rose goldy and feminine, but I still have to throw in those elements of black and white or black and gray, because you want it to be readable across multiple platforms. So if you have colors that are very light or all colors that are very dark, it's hard to accent those colors together to make it so that it's readable in your marketing and have it fit within your branding. And then also, what are some of your competitors' logos look like? What are some things in your field that those competitors really stand out to you and you really like about their logo? And we can implement some of those things into your logo, some of the features and things that you like from theirs, but while making it still stand out and be uniquely yours and uniquely your business. And then these are some examples of like logos that we've created. So within like our branding on the side, we have Ohana Craft Co., but underneath that company, we also have Faith Meets Grace. So you can see that the branding between the two companies, because they're still matched together, they coordinate and they flow together so that you can kind of tell that they still fit within the same parent company. The same thing with the Diversify and the Able logos. They're all within the same company of being owned by Able, but they have different features within them, but they still coordinate colors, they still coordinate the same feeling, and they still coordinate the same brand identity, even though it's multiple segments within the same business. And then these are some other examples that we've done as well of different things that can be implemented into a logo. Like the one at the bottom is very simple, just fonts with one simple icon. Other ones, it's a very bold, fun, bright, tropically kind of feel, obviously because they're Papakokis, so they're Puerto Rican frogs. So it fits with the theme of the brand because the branding is very islandy, very tropically with the colors and the fun with the frogs. And then the other one that I have on there is Geeky Goodies, which makes marshmallows, and they're very into like the darker colors. They do a lot of like the kind of comic segments, and they do a lot more of like the fun and unique stuff. And so theirs is very dark and ethereal kind of because it fits within their branding of what they utilize. And then one last page of some. So these are kind of some of how, like the Ohana Craft Co., you can see just because you start with a logo doesn't mean you have to stay with that logo as your business grows and your business evolves. You might have to change it down the line to fit within more of your branding. So the same concept of the scrolly font still stayed together with the flowers. But if you go back to the other page, you can see we've still kept the flowers implemented into the logo in the same scripty font, but it's evolved over the years, but it's still going to be recognizable to the customers because it's still that scrolly font, still the tropical flowers. And so even though your brand needs to evolve, logos can still be changed down the line to fit within how your branding grows and changes. And then once you then have all those things in place, then you can really scale your branding to match all of your marketing. And so you can see once you have that logo in place and once you have your brand identity in place with your colors and your fonts and how you want it to feel, it can be scalable across all of your marketing, whether it be business cards, postcards, banners, your website. It can all scale within it. And you can see that the marketing kind of flows throughout the entire brand, that all of the colors match between it all, that they all coordinate with the logo for the fonts, and the feeling of them all is all the same because it all fits within the same branding. And so that's why it's so important, you know, to have your logo in place, to have your branding in place, because then as you scale, that marketing scales with you. And as you bring other people onto your team that can help you do your social media or build out the website, once your brand and your logo and your identity is in place, they can more easily scale those things to be implemented across all of your platforms. If you're having a truck wrapped for your business because you have a landscaping business, once you have that brand identity in, you can go to those people that are going to wrap your vehicle for you, and you're going to have all of your colors in place, all of your fonts in place, your logo, how you want it to feel, and they're going to more easily be able to scale it, and it's still going to match all of your marketing from start to finish.
Can you go back to the
Yes.
previous one? Because I think what you're showing here is so good to be able to see. A lot of people, I've heard they have issues, for example, with even choosing colors, right?
Mhm.
So they can comprehend, how can I take my name that I'm thinking to be using as my brand, for example,
Mhm.
how am I going to get my name into a beautiful logo and colors? And I think that's when, for example, you will come into place, because you, with those questions that you had, and I know those might be just a few, right?
Mhm.
You need me to be able to come up with the colors, right?
Yep. Yeah. So you don't, like, in order to create your brand identity, that's really why we ask some of those questions, is because we don't expect you to know, oh, I want blue in my logo. It might be that you have one color that you want. Like you say, you know, green really resonates with me and I want to include it somehow, but I don't know how to include it. Once we figure out that brand identity by asking those questions of like, what do you want your brand to feel like? What do you want your identity to be? How do you want your customers to feel about your business, then we can kind of go to color stories and using the color wheel, which I know Grace showed in a previous video of like how important utilizing the color wheel and coordinating colors is. Once you can pick even just one of those colors, we can then scale out the colors to better match it. Like Abel's business is a good example. You guys had your blue and green in place.
Mhm.
But in order to scale it for the website, we needed those accent colors, and you wanted to have a little bit of that tropically feel, but still have it be very professional and very business oriented. And so we were able to pull in, let me see if I can go back to that slide for you guys.
No,
We were
that's
able to pull in the orange, and we have that little bit of a lighter bluish purple accent that we were able to pull in. And so building it from just that blue and green, we were able to build it with I think we have 6 colors now
I
within the
think so.
branding.
We have like a yellow, for
Yeah.
example. And you know what I love about that? The accent colors is that as we transition throughout the year, especially here in the United States, that we have different seasons, then we can transition into using a more lighter color, right? Or maybe it's going to be more like the black and white and just maybe a little bit of blue. So it allows the company to also have a flow throughout the year.
Yep.
When they're doing marketing, if it's selling their product or their services, they can also do that. I mean, your example right here with your own logo, it's perfect, right? You
Mhm.
could see the tropical, but then you also have like the black with the white background that allows you to do some things also for like winter, right?
Yeah. So as
And-
you
Mhm.
build out the company, that's what we can come in and help on. You don't necessarily have to know a color, but we're going to be able to build out those colors so that it can be scalable, readable, because you don't want to have all light fonts or all dark fonts and colors within your logo, because then going to scale it, you don't want to print an all black business card with white font. I mean, you can, but it's not going to make you stand out. And so having those accent colors and having those colors that are going to give the feeling of your business is
Mhm.
really going to help your marketing and your branding really stand out to your customers.
Yeah, and I think people get very scared. Like I know people get scared because they've told us, right? This is overwhelming. So now it's just not the financial component. It's also like, how am I going to come up with the light rose gold and the darker rose gold? And then if I'm selling a product, I also need table covers and signage, right? So people could become so overwhelmed. But that's when it's very important to reach out to an expert such as like you, because that's when you can share ideas. And I think our experience has been when we've reached out to experts in the different areas, when they come back to us, we just love what they've shared with us. Do we need to tweak it? Of course, right? Oh, can we do this? Or can we do that? Because I believe that once you have something in front of your eyes from your creative person, it's like your imagination grows even more. So it allows you to have ideas. Well, oh, I love what you did here. Can now, and I can share, like ours, for example, was can we now remove the glow from the back? Or Ryan said, well, maybe now we can use the arrow and even put it to the other way around, right? So it's so important to have that understanding, right? That we need to reach out to experts. And the logo, Ryan, I see it like, it's like almost like a footprint. It's like that fingerprint. Everyone knows Coca-Cola,
Or Nike.
Nike, or the M from McDonald's.
Yeah.
You were talking about typographics, right? And fonts. McDonald's is just an M, but everyone sees it and we know what it represents, the M,
Going off the road and you're going to get Big Mac.
or some French fries.
No
And
matter
even
where
as
you
simple
are.
as like Target, you're going to recognize the red Target circle. Amazon, you're going to recognize the smile. Even if they don't have the Amazon, you're going to recognize that smile swoosh that they have. Walmart,
Yes.
as they've evolved, they're a great example of how they've evolved. They used to be the yellow smiley face. and now they're just that yellow asterisk symbol, but you still recognize it as Walmart, even though they've evolved in their branding. It's still the same feeling, it's still the same colors. And so they're a great example of how their marketing 10, 20 years ago wasn't what it is now, but you still recognize it as Walmart because they didn't change it so much that you no longer recognize their company.
Yeah.
It's even the
Well,
same with Google, Instagram, Facebook, any of
yes.
those. They've tweaked their logos, but you still recognize them because they're the same color or they're about the same shape or font. And so it's still recognizable when scaled across their businesses.
I love how you gave the example about Ohana. You have Ohana, but then you created Faith Meets Grace, right? So with Faith Meets Grace, you could see it's still the same from the same organization, but
Mhm.
it's different kind of brand, right? We have Toyota, but then inside Toyota, we might have, you're good at that.
Well, I mean, in Toyota, then you've got the Lexus brand, you've got, then you have the different kind of cars, so that you get the different franchise in Toyota. You get the Camry franchise, you get the 4Runner, the Highlander, get all those different franchises inside the branding. So
It's okay to know that you're gonna grow. What's important is to start.
yeah,
For example, with you, I think your first logo was the one that says Ohana with the
So actually,
green.
that's my second logo. So
Oh,
my company actually started as the Bella Plans with the cute little puppy, because I started my business as planner stickers. And so for that season, it fit to have Bella Plans. But as I added more things to my company, and as I added in just regular stickers, or as I added in bookmarks, that Bella Plans limited my customer base because of the feeling in the name of my logo. It only made people think planners, planning, plans. And so that was when it evolved then to the Ohana Craft Co. And we went through a brand relaunching, and we pre-let our customers know, like, hey, this is something exciting coming. It's going to be a new feeling, new products. And so we then launched it as the Ohana Craft Co. because
yes.
that then umbrellaed more things for our customers and didn't limit our customer base, didn't limit our product base. And then we started with this original logo that's on this slide. And then as it evolved, our company just became more professional, and we wanted to really have it stand out that we then were offering these more professional services. And so we wanted our logo to match that. And so that's when it then evolved to the circle logo that it is now, because it just gives off a more professional feeling. And then we can then umbrella underneath it all of our logo designing, all of our branding, all of our marketing that we can do, all of our print marketing that we have available. So it's okay for your logo to evolve over the years to match more of what your products are. You don't want to deadlock yourself into only doing this one niche from the very beginning. And so as your company grows and as you change, it's okay that your logo and your branding might need to evolve with your company, as long as you're letting your customers know, hey, there's some changes coming, be on the lookout, but always promoting it as something fun and exciting for your customers to look forward to. And it's going to continue that brand recognition because you let them know. You didn't just shut down your social media, change your logo, change your branding, and relaunch yourself, because now you're going to lose customers because they no longer know who you are, because you didn't amp them up for that exciting thing that's coming with the rebranding. So there's always a way to do it if you feel that you're stuck in the way your logo looks, or you don't like the original logo and branding you have. There's a way to do it and still keep your customer base and still hold that trust with your customers.
so what are can you share like some of the things you do besides logos, like with Ohana Craft? What is it, just logos that you make, or do you do other things?
So I do logo design, brand building. So logo design and brand building are kind of two separate things, but can be bundled together, because the more of the branding is going to be implementing your colors, implementing your solid set of fonts. Like, this is your header font, this is your text font. And so that's one of the packages that we do. But we also then design all of that print marketing to match your business logo and your branding. So we do designs for business cards, we do postcards, flyer, any print marketing you can imagine. We help you scale that from your logo and your branding to create whatever it is that you're needing. We also do help with websites, help building out your website, or if you have a specific page that you know what you want to do, but you just can't figure out on your back end how to do it. We've used multiple website platforms. I've used Shopify, WooCommerce, Square Marketing website, Kajabi,
Yeah.
and a lot of other different websites that I've learned the back ends of them and can help implement pages, whether it's you need to create a survey page or you need to create a sign up page of some sort, or even from like our business, creating product pages or linking those product pages from the company that's assisting making them. And then we also do materials that hold your branding that can be used personally or as giveaways. So we do tumblers and cups, bookmarks, stickers, any of those kind of things that you have that you want your branding on. Those are all things that we can then scale and create once we really create that brand identity for you.
Awesome. So is there I'm just curious, is there like one specific thing that the people come to you the most for? They're like, we need help with this thing the most, that you work with people more than the other things, or is it just a combination of
It's a
everything?
combination of it. A lot of what we do is logo and branding, but then also implementing that into the marketing materials. So creating the business cards for them, creating the banners for them or the postcards. And then also we do a lot of Tumblr designs utilizing those logo designs for our customers as well.
So, and I got one full of questions, I guess.
That's great.
So what do you think about all these different systems out there now? People are incorporating AI, for somebody to say, hey, I could just do this myself with a $30 AI like application. What do you say about, can you explain like why it's more important to have like a human do your logo compared to just AI? Is there a way that you explain that to people? Or have
Yeah,
you?
so
Yeah.
like the downside that I see to utilizing AI is somebody can type in the exact same thing as you and they're going to get your exact same logo. So it's not going to create that that distinguishment between your customers because somebody else 10 days later, 2 years later can use AI and it's going to give them that same exact logo that you asked for it to be created for you. So it doesn't create that separation of identity. It doesn't give you that uniqueness to yourself. It also is only going to really utilize a lot of like stock images, stock fonts, and it's not going to create that combination of fonts and colors and things that are really just going to be unique to you, unique to your brand. The colors that are going to give the feel that you want based on what you want your brand to be. So that's the downside to AI is anybody could go on and recreate the same thing that you are, and a lot of those also aren't scalable. And so when we create like your logo, we want it to be scalable no matter what method you use it on. You might say, oh, I'm only going to need it on business cards, or I'm only going to need it on my website. You're limiting yourself then from the very beginning to now you can never use that logo on the side of a truck, on a billboard, or on larger marketing materials because you've put it into your mind that you're never going to need that in that form of a size. And so that's the other downside to that AI is it's not going to be a size and a format that's scalable. It's also not going to be one that you can use on multiple things. So like ours, when we create our logo, as you can see from like the evolution of the Ohana one, we have our full color one that we use on a majority of our marketing, but we also have black and white versions that are used for stamps or for something more black and white that we're printing. Some of our printing is kind of limited. We can't do the full color. So if you use AI, you're not going to get all those layers separated. Or even Able's a great example. We have yours separated where you have just your arrow, or you have your full original logo that's the globe with a Better Life Enterprise with the arrow, or your simple one that's an arrow with Able. Utilizing AI, you're not going to be able to create all of those multiple levels of your logo that can
Mhm.
be utilized and scalable across what you need it to use.
Yeah, that's a great explanation. That's
Yeah,
makes perfect sense.
yeah.
Why it's important to not just rely on simple things like AI, because exactly what you said, anybody can duplicate it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Is it important for like everybody that has a brand to have like a black and white version of their brand too?
It's important to at least have one that's more basic,
Okay.
because if you want to be able to utilize it on something that's more simple, for example, if ever you want to have custom checks made, or if ever you want to make a stamp, if you don't have that simple logo, it's just not going to scale across it. Your guys is you have a couple different versions, your arrow or your fonts, those colors can easily be changed to make it black and white and
Mm.
make it legible with those. So even though it might not be delivered in black and white, it can be adjusted to black and white and still be legible. Where your full globe with Able, you don't really want to do that one in like a single print black and white, because it's just not going to translate
Sure.
to whatever marketing you're going to use. So it's always nice to have that really, really simple one, because you can utilize it on things that you might not think of.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, most definitely.
I mean, it's incredible. I love the presentation. I love like everything you're sharing.
Yes.
We've used it personally with Ryan, so we can attest that the work's really good. I mean, it's helped us like colors. I'm terrible at color. Deanna will tell you. I mean, I'll be like, what colors we use? And I'll pick something out. She'll look at me like I'm crazy or I'm an alien or something like that, because I'm just not good at it. And I don't know what looks good together. In my head, I think I know what looks good together, but as soon as she looks at me, she's just like, I don't know about that.
I don't know. But that's why it's important to reach out to people like you,
Mhm.
because I'm not an expert and I'm going to get frustrated. And then instead of focusing on what I'm good at, on what makes me enjoy life and have fun, because that's the idea of being able to diversify, is to actually be able to do things that we enjoy
Yeah.
with our time. We actually will generate even more income if we focus on what we're good at,
Mhm.
because that will take us less time. You know, for me to do maybe an accounting entry is fun. It might take me less time than another person that will try to study how to do it right, get it done. So it's like the same with everyone's expertise, right? Is just reach out to people. But for all the people that we have on this conversation that are starting or are planning to start a business, it could be, it doesn't have to be professional services or a store. We can do logos for podcasts, for
Mhm.
blogs, for social media. Maybe you just want to be able to share some positive, comments on social media. You need a logo because that's who you are. It might be your name. For example, John Maxwell. Well, his name is his brand, right?
Mhm.
But even John Maxwell has a logo. They use his name everywhere. And I've been purchasing his books in Spanish and English for over 25 years, right? So it's on everything. You want to write a book? Find a logo for your book. It's on anything you want to do. Again, for me, it's like almost like like your fingerprint. Where I see it, I know what I'm expecting. I'm expecting excellence, or it's fun, like you were explaining. So I'm very excited for everything that you were sharing, and I hope everyone was able to understand it. We're putting this as a video so you can go back and replay it, watch it again. So sometimes we can be afraid of even asking about what is the logo, because we've seen the logos, but we don't even know what that is really called, right? So I love, Ryan, how you were sharing information. You were calling items like they were. You gave us
Yeah.
a great, amazing masterclass.
Yeah, another thing is So Ryan's really good at creating logos and things like that. And we're going back to like what Deanna was talking about, like reaching out to people. Like somebody like Mary Lucy, like this has happened to us personally. We'll create a logo or play around with something and we'll show it to her. And she'd be like, well, that doesn't even make sense to what you guys, your market, because she's a marketer. So
Mhm.
sometimes this is where it's like where we think in our heads that we got it all figured out. With people that do this every day and they see other organizations and other campaigns, to them it doesn't make sense. But in our head, sometimes everything makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like at me, when I do something, I'm like, oh, this is the awesomest thing in the world. This is great. But then I show it to Deanna or somebody else, and they're like, what are you trying to even say here? I'm like, what do you mean? What am I trying to say? So it really goes back to like lean on those people that do this professionally, that are for a hobby that they love doing, that are really good at it, and use them. They're there to make you look better. This is to make your business look better, to make you grow your business. It's all to make you look better.
Mhm.
So, just think about the clothes that you put on. You put on clothes so you can look better. You don't pick out the rattiest clothes in your closet sometimes if you're going for a meeting or to meet somebody new or somebody high up. You want to look good. So think about dressing up your businesses with logos and branding and market to make you look better.
Yeah, and then connected everywhere, right? You were talking about Marie Lucy or like the logo, right? Because and you mentioned this as well, Ryan. You said then you can use that logo on your different social medias.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter where people will go, if it's to your website, to your Instagram account, or maybe your Facebook
Yeah.
account or your professional card, they will see you. They will see your branding. They will see what you want to bring through what you're selling or what you are sharing or what you are presenting, right?
Exactly.
So thank you so much, Ryan.
You're welcome.
This is incredible. So, any questions before we, get out of here? If anybody has any questions, or anyone give you opportunity?
We are going to be uploading these videos into our platform. We're almost there. So it's going to be part of our toolbox, part of those videos that you can go back and watch again, right? So we're super excited. And again, Ryan, thank you for your time. Thank you for planting this seed at the Diversify group.
It
We
was
greatly
incredible.
appreciate
It
it.
was
Let
incredible.
me share,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we thank you once again. Remember, we do this because we want to be generous. And that's why this is Diversify, is so we could all grow in generosity in everything that we do. And that's how we all grow, sharing with each other.
That's it.
So thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. We love every one of you guys. We hope that you have a great evening.
Yes. Until May. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.